Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dave from FindYourNextGuitar.com here, and this is part one of the full run through of the course. If you look through the book guide, you'll find a bunch of different video files. And what I've done is I've broken the entire course apart into different sections, and I've gone into more detail in some of those videos in the PDF. But this is a quick run through of the entire thing, step by step from start to finish. So I'm going to jump right into viewing the neck adjustment here. From this camera angle, you should be able to see that there's a little bit of a forward bow in the guitar. The neck is dipping down here, and then it's kind of raising up here a little bit. And I'm starting to get some fret buzz and dead notes in this section of the neck. So that definitively tells me that I have a forward bow. So the guitar has a little bit too much relief, and we need to turn the truss rod counterclockwise. So one thing that I did with this guitar was I cut a little notch with a Dremel out of the pickguard right here, so I could get quick access to the truss rod without adjusting it. This is a bottom of truss without removing the neck, because this is a bottom adjustable truss rod. So what I'm going to do here is actually crank the pickup down all the way, and that gives me enough room to get a flathead screwdriver in there. Now, the nut on this uses a Phillips head, but because of how I'm adjusting it, I need to use a flathead so that I can get in there without damaging it, and it just seems to rotate a little bit better that way. So let me change the camera angle here so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So there is the truss rod. I'm just going to give it a quarter turn counterclockwise. I'm going to let that sit a minute, and what I'm going to do is look straight down the neck to see if I can feel any difference, and I'm going to play it a little bit too to see if those dead notes have now gone away. I've let the neck sit for a minute now, and after playing it and looking down the neck, there's still a little bit of too much forward bow, and I'm going to need to give it about another half of a turn. But I wanted to show you how I would look down the neck when I'm actually looking at it from my perspective. Most of the time when I'm adjusting my truss rod, I am taking the guitar like this and I'm looking down the neck, and I'm holding it at this angle right here. And if you look right where the neck attaches to the guitar, like right here, and like try and draw a line to the headstock, you can see that there's a little bit of forward bow. It has that U shape that we talked about, and it looks like the headstock's protruding forward. So I need to adjust it a little bit more. And like I said, just about another half turn. Part of the reason I also know that it needs adjusted is I was playing it and I could feel there's still some ringing out and dead notes right around that section of the guitar. Now that I've made that second adjustment, I went to play it again, and it still feels like it's a little bit off. So now is when I'll actually kind of go to troubleshoot it. So I've got a capo on the first fret here, which actually it should be on the second fret. And I'm going to hold down the 16th fret here, and I have a piece of cardstock, and I want to check the 8th fret. And what I'm looking for is that this piece of cardstock is able to slide freely underneath the string. So I know that if the string is touching right here on the 8th fret, when I'm holding down the 16th fret and the capo's on the second, if this is touching, which it's not, if the card can't slide freely through there, then it's still got too much relief. It still has a little bit of a forward bow. And I see that that is able to slide freely underneath there. And I don't think you'll be able to really pick this up like I can see it with my eye from the camera, but it's actually a little bit too high, which means that I've probably adjusted it slightly too much. And now I need to tighten the truss rod and turn it clockwise, maybe an eighth of a turn, just a tiny little bit. So I went ahead and made that small eighth turn adjustment, and now that is just about the right amount of space. The cardstock isn't touching the string, but it's almost touching the string. And I have my action and bridge set very low, so that's right where I want it to be. So now I'm going to do one more play test with it to see if it sounds and feels good. I also wanted to show you guys that whenever you adjust the truss rod, typically the guitar is going to be out of tune a little bit. So before I do my play test, I'm going to tune the guitar. And you can see quite a bit of those were out of tune. And because I did make a pretty big adjustment, I'm going to go through it one more time and make sure that when I did tune the guitar, that some of the other strings didn't go back out of tune. That is something that will commonly happen, just so you guys are aware of it. And we can see that right away with the E string here. And after you make any big adjustment, if you go and play the guitar right afterwards, you will probably need to retune the guitar maybe 3 or 4 times, depending on how much you adjusted it and what kind of neck it is. And as I mentioned before, right now it's the middle of summer in Pittsburgh. It's hot and it's humid, and this maple neck does not like the weather at all.